Welcome to Thy Kingdom Come. Coming up on today's episode, we bring you a panel discussion on Advent.
Christ is coming again. How would he come to meet me? Answering these questions will give you the right way to prepare.
The climax is not only eating and drinking, but it's a preparation for us to receive somebody.
And in Methodism today, we bring you the dedication of Reverend Wilson B. Methodist Basic School at SALTPOND in the Central Region. Please do stay tuned. A beautiful edifice of a school complex block has been built for the Reverend Wilson B. Methodist Basic School at SALTPOND and dedicated to the glory of God. The school now has a complex block for KG, ICT lab, library, JHS, staff room and an office. The occasion was on the theme, Transforming Society Through Effective Education, the Role of the State and the Church. The Methodist Primary B School was established in the year 1951 by the Wesley Methodist Society at SALTPOND. The school was running shift with the Primary A stream at Apiakwa. It became necessary for the Primary B stream to move to its present site when the Superintendent Minister of the Methodist Church at SALTPOND, the very Reverend Joseph Wilson A. Sr., converted the then warehouse into classrooms for the people who were running shift with the Primary A stream to have full tuition. Currently, the school has a population of about 500 plus, which includes KG, primary, and JHS. Reverend Wilson B. Methodist Basic School can boast of 17 permanent teachers, 12 student teachers from Ola College of Education, 2 National Service personnel, and 2 Youth Employment Agency personnel. Since its inception, the authorities of the school have endeavored to bring up the children to be God-fearing and useful citizens by training them for service to the church and the community. The school has trained and groomed a number of people who are all over the country, contributing their quota to Mother Ghana. This is a reflection of the motto of the school, which says, "Hard work is crowned with success." To witness the dedication and commission of the school block was the Right Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena Boafo, Administrative Bishop of the Methodist Church, Ghana. The Right Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Abekan Wilson, Diocesan Bishop of Cape Coast. The Very Reverend Nana Danyame, General Manager of Methodist Schools. Mr. John Ekwan Kweku Pratt, Past Lay President. The Gassem Foundation, officials of GES, parents, teachers and pupils. The keys to the new block was presented to the Administrative Bishop of the Methodist Church, Ghana. He proceeded with a dedication and the plaque was unveiled.
To the glory of God the Father, who gives us children to nurture, to the glory of the Son, who was obedient to God his Father, to the glory of the Holy Spirit, who guides us into all the truth, we dedicate this school.
Amen. Thanks be to God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
We cut this theme in In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen.
Dignitaries present took turns to tour the beautiful edifice of a school complex block consisting of KG, ICT lab, library, JHS, staff room, and an office. The Right Reverend Paul Kwabna Buafo, speaking on behalf of the presiding bishop, expressed profound gratitude to the Wilson family.
Yeda ebusiano ase papa wa de kese a etise a omaye we akire yen amaye hunu se papa na se yen sofo panyin Wilson B Juma obabediye se wasome de na hoden ne nimidie na senka atwe akra ema onyame no na chi enya nkata akra efrise de abusia eyire ene mma aye enedei eyade a eba betina wa afebo ma yen papa na sofudie na dwumadie ene na dwempa onyaye no agi onyame freso so nam saa kwan no so bebo onyame ne do nkwaje ho dawro a kire afoforo no akoswara atim efrise emofra eba befa saa adesua bia yi se ma se merma wonnam saa akwanya yi so wonso obedi mu na wonjumadie awie peyo na se won dwumadie ewie peyo a na enkoma ankro na eba befa sukuu ha nko na emom ekọ ama SALTPOND man ekọ ama Ghana man ekọ ama wiase nyina enti Wilson B abusia Methodist asori edamase ansa. Amen. For what we see here today is a good manifestation of generosity on the part of the Wilson B family to so handedly put up a building of this nature and donating it to the church to enhance quality education in this community and in the world at large. And we say that they have done a very good work which needs to be appreciated. We commend them for this kind gesture because what they have done is not just for this community alone, but for all who live around here and all who pass through the walls, because this has enhanced the environment of the school for good learning and good teaching. Because if you have a better facility for teachers and for students or for pupils, then you can see that they can learn and learn well. So what they have done here has added to quality education, and it is through the Methodist Church, Ghana.
The headmistress of the school, Mrs. Kate Ivy Wilson, in her address, thanked all individuals, companies, and civil societies who helped in diverse ways.
Through the marvelous grace of God, the family, individuals, companies, and civil society readily supported and contributed in cash and kind to put up this edifice. Mention is made of Honorable Robert Coutin, who was the first to have supported with 200 bags of cement and also transported all the bags of cement GASEM donated year by year since the project began, from the factory to the school. GASEM Cement Foundation for donating bags of cement on a yearly basis. Mr. Alex Adams from Kumasi, Ayija Circuit, who donated the wood for the roofing and the roofing sheets. He also donated the chairs and tables for the KG classroom. Mr. Kofi Akusa, who gave not once or twice or thrice, but including most of the electrical materials. almost every 6 months.
The very Reverend Nana Danyame was grateful to all stakeholders who helped with the project.
In fact, the government and the mission schools, they have a partnership. The government provides, and we also as mission schools add on to what the government provides. So today is one of the things that the Methodist Church Ghana seeks to do. So today, even as we dedicate this building as part of our partnership deal to add on to infrastructure, to maintain, and also to provide books and ICT items. So for me, I am so happy for the family of the late Wilson and the Methodist Church, as well as all stakeholders, GASM, who have helped to put up this infrastructure. So it is a delight to be here, and even to watch the students do poetry recitals. This encourages us more even to donate to the library to continue to inculcate in our children the culture of reading.
Pupils of the school performed an insightful poetry recital amidst cultural display. The Reverend Wilson B. Methodist Basic School has an ICT lab and a library which needs to be furnished with equipment and furniture. Therefore, we are calling on everyone to help in diverse ways. It's our prayer that the Lord will continue to bless everyone as well as the Wilson family, without which this vision wouldn't have come to fruition. So, on that note, we say Ayiko.
Welcome to Thy Kingdom Come, a program designed by the Methodist Church Ghana to help you deepen your faith and understand doctrine. We are within Advent. It's a season in Christendom and on the Christian calendar. A lot of people do not understand it, but we are here today to deepen your faith and help you understand Advent better. With me in the studio are two seasoned men of God who have been Methodist ministers, posted and worked in various societies, circuits, and dioceses. They are currently directors at the head office, and they are here to help break the word down and help us understand the Advent season. With me, on my extreme left, is the very Reverend Dr. Henry Ampawasiedu, the Director, Public Relations Office, and also the Superintendent Minister of the Taifa Circuit. And then also with him is the very Reverend Kenneth Atasafo, who is the Director, Children Ministry, Methodist Church Ghana, are here to help us break this word down, and then also to understand what we mean by Advent. Men of God, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
We would want to dive straight into the topic and would want you to give us sound theological understanding of the word Advent. Should somebody ask you, what is Advent? Doctor,
Yeah,
what will you say?
thank you very much. Advent is a Latin word which has two words put together, ad and venire. And it means to come, ad, to, and venire, to come, to approach, to get closer. And this word had been used to mean the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ into the world. First, as a lawyer, to me, as a lawyer who came to intercede on our behalf. And he had a second coming, which is also an advent, for which he came as a judge and to judge the world. So to me, it's a Latin word, ad and venire. He says coming into the world. Yes.
So you mean coming into the world by the way of his birth, and then the second is what we are all expecting, that he will be coming, this time as a judge.
That's exactly what I mean.
Okay. Director Children Ministry, from the angle of children's work, what is Advent?
For children, for Christendom, for everyone who believes in Christ, the meaning is still the same.
Okay.
And for children, because we love to enjoy babies, we love the Christmas aspect of it, the first part. But beyond that celebration is the second coming of Christ. In fact, Christmas and the Advent season is something, the preparation towards Christmas, which you always take it as a preparation towards Christmas. For Christendom, it is preparation towards the second coming of Christ. So much as the whole world will look at, oh, it is Christmas, it is getting to Christmas. Christians won't look at, it is getting to Christmas. We'll look at, Christ is coming again. So and that is the Advent we're talking about. And the Greek, we'll talk about the parousia. That's the second coming of Christ.
So, from your angle, you're saying the children loving babies will be looking at the Christmas story. In other words, you're looking at when Jesus appeared or entered the world for the first time. And then, for the whole of Christendom, we're now looking at Jesus coming again.
Yes.
But in your presentation, you spoke about the season, Advent season. When does it start and when does it end?
Advent season starts from it's the 4 Sundays before Christmas. Sometimes starting from the last Sunday of November or the first Sunday of December, depending on the calendar year when it happens. The first 4 Sundays or the 4 Sundays before Christmas, that is when we have the Advent.
So, sir, what happens within these 4 Sundays?
You see, these 4 Sundays precede Christmas, and it is such that every period, as my brother has rightly said, for instance, last year we had it on Advent started on 27th of November, but this year it started on the 3rd of December. When you look at the background, it looks as if in the Orthodox Church, monks usually separated themselves 40 days before Christmas to pray. And so it continued in the monastery life for a long time until the church adopted that before Christmas there should be a period of penitence, prayer, because it's preparatory. You're preparing yourself to meet somebody. And so this kind of arrangement has come in. That's why we see it as a season, and it begins 4 Sundays preceding Christmas.
Okay, so the season from the monks, preparation, means that every Sunday the church members are prompted on something to do. What exactly do we talk about in church at this time?
For instance, in the Methodist Church, we have a weekly lesson book. And if you look critically to it, you'll notice that the Advent begins with the first part of the second coming as a teaching material for the whole of the Methodist Church. The second week also continues with the last part of the second coming. But when you get into the third week, it depicts Jesus who comes in his own self. And the hymn 138, Christmas with Jesus Christ, shows. And the last part of the season, the last week, has the Jesus Christ who comes as Emmanuel. And so you see that the first 2 weeks has something to tell us of that which is the impending, when he will be coming. And then the last two also give us a picture of his real coming. And so every Sunday, the Methodist Church has something for our members, as slated by our weekly lesson arrangement. And so it's a teaching that keeps us prepared for the coming of Jesus Christ.
Very, very Atasafo. So if we are preparing from what we've said, for the first part, we've seen it, we've read about it. The second part, we have not seen, which is the second coming of Christ. How should the members prepare for that part of the Advent?
Taking the whole thing, preparation, into consideration, you would want to go back to the beginning of the celebration itself, which is from the 4th, 5th centuries, when new converts were prepared for baptism at the Epiphany. Epiphany is celebrated somewhere 6th January. So Christmas was not even in the question at the time. So with time, Christmas came in, and then people rather saw that it is good. So where Papa started from, where the monks used to go to their hideout, monasteries, and all those places to prepare 40 days and all that, it became a sort of a preparatory period. One, you look at your lifestyle, you look at what you're going to do. So it's no longer those who are being prepared for baptism, but rather for every Christian, and even those who are not Christians. This is where you take time to look at your life again. Okay, Christ is coming again. How would he come to meet me? Answering these questions will give you the right way to prepare. Others in Ghana, people go to Achia, Abesia mountains to pray. People go to different hideouts. Now it is becoming a norm. And that is how everyone should look at it. Not just hiding to pray, but considering the fact that you need to prepare. If Christ were to come during the season, during the time we are celebrating, how would he come to meet you? Are you ready for his coming? And that is the preparation that will lead you to know the sort of preparation that you are supposed to put in.
But my question is, what sort of preparation? Because we are preparing to meet the Messiah, the Christ. What should we do now? In this sense, I'm not thinking of the birth of Christ alone. I'm thinking of the second coming.
Yes.
So I want you to match the two.
Yes, that's what I was saying, that knowing the coming of Christ will tell you to know, or will let you know the sort of preparation you're supposed to put in. Not just the prayer, not just the reading of the scriptures, all together, and then your Christian life. How practical are you? This is the period you begin to live the practical Christian life. So that when you look at the almanac or you look at the lectionary for the period, you realize that even though initially it was taking the second coming of Christ throughout, it got to a point from the 6th century coming, then they started breaking it down. And then you get the 2 readings for the preparation, the first 2 Sundays, and the second two Sundays, you realize that it will come down to the nativity issues. So not only are we looking at the birth, we're also looking at the second coming. In fact, the only celebration, let me put this one here. When you look at every celebration, it has a purpose. So if Christmas is for Christ's birth, then we should be concentrating on Christ. Yes. But you realize that for Christmas only, alone, the Advent season that prepares you does not prepare you only for the Christmas, but looking beyond.
Okay. Before I go to Papa, from the children ministry, how do you prepare the children? How should one prepare children for Advent or during Advent?
Yes, this is where we love most. You know, we have to even let the air around us tell us that it is Christmas. So once Advent starts, that is where you put in all the necessary preparations, making sure the children themselves understand what is happening. This is where you draw their attention to the nativity of Christ's birth, and this is where you also prepare them that they go beyond, not just the Christmas. So the children themselves, as they sing the songs around, the Christmas songs around, something fills them, and then you capitalize on this to teach them exactly what they are in for, since they may not know.
Papa, we'll be taking a short break, but when we come back, I would want you to look at it from the angle of the adult, because it looks and it's clear that in today's world in Ghana, the adult Christian have forgotten about this. What should the adults do? How do we bring them back? What went wrong, and how do we correct them? We'll be coming back after this break, and we want you to stay glued to your set because there is more to understand. Viewers, you are welcome back. Before the break, we were asking to know and understand what went wrong, that now adults don't concentrate on the Advent as is been explained, but veered into eating, drinking, thinking of cow and chicken rather than the coming of Christ. I still have with me the very Reverend Dr. Henry Ampasiedu, Director, Public Relations Office, and the very Reverend Kenneth Atasafo, helping us to understand Advent. Papa, what is your take on it? What went wrong, and how can we correct it?
See, you will notice that as the years unfold, if you do something for a long time, as if the essence gradually fades. And that is what I liken it to what was even happening in Trinity. That we used to have the Advent term, which is the first term. We had the Lent term and the Trinity term. But with the coming in of semester, these terms have been faded away. And as if gradually it's also fading away with us. We look at the eating and then drinking, the preparations, all that we make, all end up into eating, merrymaking, and jubilation for the period. And we forget that there's somebody who is coming for which we are preparing, as if we are only preparing for our own self and preparing for what we'll eat and we will drink. And so what I think can be done to revisit some of these areas. For instance, our carol service have been seen as an annual routine and ritual. The same readings, and there's no variation with it. And for instance, I will be invited to about 6 or 7 different carol service. And sometimes I feel it's too much of even a boredom for me. And so, for instance, the carol service, if we can bring in some aspects which will not be so much of only singing and then reading, it will give us more inclined towards preparing ourselves. And also, to make us feel that it is not only, the climax is not only eating and drinking, but it's a preparation for us to receive somebody. In fact, when I was expecting my first child, we did a lot of preparation, which even included, we didn't know the
sex of the
the
child.
sex of the child, but we bought several things, we prepared several things, including the baby's cots and other things. But when the child came, we noticed that some of the things we should have bought, we couldn't probably.
That's right.
Because we were looking at the pomp and pageantry, the happiness around the child coming. And we forgot in the preparation some salient issues that we need to have put together. And so we need to have time to teach. Time, for instance, with our weekly lesson, we invite members, but how many people even come for Bible class meetings? And so we see this season still as an annual ritual, routine. After this, what next? And so the spiritual impact, we need to push it on in order to make us feel that it is not only an annual ritual, but some spiritual aspect of our life to prepare us.
You said, listening to you, I've gotten a lot of people who need to work on this. The first I see is the clergy, because the teaching and reminding our members of what goes on really comes from the clergy, and let's say the lay preachers all have to be abreast. Then when you come to carol service, I'm seeing the choir, the singing band, who normally led through that. And then again, it will come to the clergy, because the clergy must direct as to what should be part of that program. And then I see the next person to be working here as the individual Christian, who should now think of exactly what Advent means or what we should be doing rather than the fringes. If you are with me on that, I want to share your thoughts. Very Reverend Kenneth, is that the case? Are these people really to help us do the correction?
Sure. It's like we put in more effort with Lent these days than Christmas, the Advent. We believe that as for Lent, we are celebrating into the death and the resurrection of Christ.
Okay.
But Christmas, it's like anything goes. You go to Ashanti region, maybe these days it is dying out, but on the 25th, that is when people cry in memory of their loved ones who have departed. Some go as far as to the cemetery to mourn, just to remember, and then it means that Christmas, Christ is no more interested in whatever that they are doing. So from there, if I'm already crying, I need to be comforted.
Yes.
And then I'll take some drinks. So ministers will have to come in.
All right, sir. Doctor, I would want to ask, once we've explained it from the centuries to the monks to this far, are there any things people would want to understand these things from biblical point of view? Can we point our hands or put our hands on any biblical issue for us to be moving with that?
Yeah. If you look at Isaiah 40, verse 3.
Isaiah 40, verse
3. It talks about a voice from the wilderness. Prepare the way for the Messiah. If he continues to verse 5, it gives the picture of the coming in of the Messiah. And so there should be preparation towards it. And so this Advent period can be likened to preparation like Isaiah emphasized here. In the same vein, I think it's Mark 1:3 also has the same text: prepare the way for the Messiah. Make the path straight. Remove all obstacles on the way. So the Messiah and you yourself can have that close journey on the path. And so we have biblical passages, several of them. If you look at 1 John 1, from 12 following, he came to his own home. The people did not receive him, but those who received him, he gave them power. And then he came in the flesh. And it shows that he came, as emphasized with the epiphany, in the flesh, appearing. And so the Bible have several references telling us that indeed he appeared, and we should be expecting the appearance and prepare ourselves towards his coming.
All right.
But I want to add a little to what was being discussed about the issue with our involvement. In fact, the churches, the clergy, we've all been doing our part. But as a family, see, these are periods where we normally don't go to work, and sometimes some off days. We need to sit down as family to let our children really know what is at stake. It shouldn't be only the eating and drinking, but let us prepare our children from here, the heart, and also of the mind. And if these two areas click, I think we will understand really what Christmas is.
For the historical Orthodox churches, as we are called, mainly, as you enter the chapel, the colors, the decoration and the colors you see in the chapel tells you exactly what is happening. What colors do we expect to see during Advent in our chapels?
During Advent, you see purple or violet, and it shows penitence, rededication, sober reflection. And as you see these with your mindset that I am preparing towards the coming, it's really gear you towards. It is always sober reflection. These colors give us
sober reflection. With these understandings, I believe our viewers will be thinking through the investigation is still on. When I say investigation, you diving deep into it to know and understand. If you are a Methodist, you might have your minister close to you who can tell you more. But before we leave them, for them to continue with whatever they're doing, can you give us any Christmas message? Since we are in Advent, and the first part, we're thinking of the birth of Christ. What are your Christmas messages for us?
My message is that during this period, there is a lot of merrymaking and fun. People travel far and near, and I'm pleading that we should be focused on Christ rather than the merrymaking. People will be traveling along the Kwawu, traveling to Kumasi and other places. We are saying that Jesus the Christ, the Emmanuel, who is going to be born to us, we should prepare ourselves to meet him rather than looking around and then he passing by without being noticed.
Thank you. Director Children Ministry.
As we go through the Christmas, I would want to encourage each and everyone to make an in their individual lives for Christ. But let me wish all my children across the connection, including those who are not even Christians, and all those other children who belong to the other denominations. May the Lord be with them, and as they celebrate the Christmas festival, may they also encounter the newborn Christ in their lives.
So viewers, with this we bring the curtains down. I believe by now you understand when we say Advent. If you are a Methodist, It will help you not to be thinking whether we're talking of SDA, Seventh-day Adventists, but this is a season that we all celebrate in Christendom. Whether you talk about it or not, you are within it. And we want you to know, Christmas is close. Make sure you live, you are alive, and we'll see you in 2018. So once you've been with us this week, prepare, make time to what thy kingdom come the coming week. I am your host, Very Reverend Ishmael Francis Tete. May God bless you.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of Thy Kingdom Come. This program was brought to you by the Methodist Church Ghana. For your prayers and counseling, call us on the numbers currently showing on your screen. You can write to us via the address showing on your screen or email info@methodistchurch.org.gh. You can also visit our website www.methodistchurch.org.gh. We entreat you to subscribe to the Wesley channel on YouTube for more updates on our programs. God bless you.